Morena koutou, we're just waiting for the signal that we are live. We're live streaming the swearing-in ceremony. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa, ngā mihi nui kia koutou. Ngā mihi nui ki our online viewers, which I think we've got a few. Ngā mihi ki ngā manuhiri, Ōtorohanga mihi kia koe pera mō tō tautoko I tēnei ata. Ko Tanya Winter tōku ingoa, ko te tumu whakarai I te kaunihera arohi o Ōtorohanga. I'm Tanya Winter, I'm the Chief Executive at Council. I have the privilege this morning to open the Council meeting, and it's the inaugural Council meeting for the 2025-28 triennium. It's pretty special for me because it's the only time in a council's life that the chief executive has all the powers. I know, I'm trying not to let that go to my head. But yeah, it's been wonderful spending the last couple of weeks with particularly with our mayor-elect, Rodney, but also with some of our new elected members in both the council and the two community boards that we have in our beautiful rohi. We do have a opening karakia to open the space and provide us with the good light, as Cassidy talked about earlier. So join me if you know mā te whakapono. So ka tīmata tātou. Mā te whakapono, mā te tūmanako, mā te titiro, mā te whakarongo, mā te mahitahi, mā te manawa nui, mā te aroha, ka taia e tātou. Ngā mihi. We do have apologies from Councillor-elect Michael Woodward, who can't be with us today. He will be sworn in at a later date. So it's now my pleasure to call up Mayor-elect Rodney Dow to make his declaration.
Oops. Eating problems. Ready? You're out of power, the boss.
Yeah. Well, the next 30 seconds.
Yeah. I'll read fast. I, Rodney Dow, declare that I will faithfully, impartially, and according to the best of my skill and judgment, execute and perform in the best interest of the Ōtorohanga district the powers, authorities, and duties vested in or imposed upon me as councillor of the Ōtorohanga District Council. By virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, and any other act. Sign for me. I have the power.
You're welcome to make a speech.
To make a speech now, or do I want to change office?
Oh, yeah.
They're all around already. Oh, what? Here, on job. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you and welcome. Welcome to the families of our newly elected members, friends, colleagues, and members of our wonderful community. We had one of the highest voter turnouts in the country with 49.53% of residents voting. You made your voice heard. Thank you and well done. Thank you to everyone pardon me, in Ōtorohanga who placed their trust in me and supported me with their vote. I'm truly humbled to be your mayor. To our former mayor and councillors, thank you for your service to our community. I'd like to acknowledge all those who stood as a candidate in the recent election. We were lucky in our district that a by-election was not to be had. It shows that we have a community that cares, and we are lucky to have so many who want to give up their time to make Ōtorohanga a district that everyone aspires to belong to. To the newly elected members and the returning councillors, I look forward to working with you all over the next 3 years. In this triennium, we welcome 6 new councillors and 5 new community board members, alongside the return of 3 councillors and 3 board members. I've now met with all the councillors to discuss their aspirations, and they, along with the community board members, have completed the first of 6 induction workshops. I'm really excited and enthusiastic about the talent we have on this new elected team, who I've nicknamed the Dream Team. Special thanks goes to Day Dowd, Kaya King, Nadia Gower, and Tony Winter for all the help over the last 3 weeks getting me settled in. And a big thank you to the council staff for their warm welcome. New Zealand is currently experiencing a cost of living crisis, and our residents are being asked to pay higher rates that are costing unsustainable. We will be reviewing all costs incurred by the council, just like we do it occasionally at home. In council, there are 3 do's. The have to do's, which is regulatory stuff that's determined by central government that we really just have to do. There is the must do's, things like infrastructure that we must maintain and keep in good quality. And then there's the like to do's, which some people call the wants. I want to investigate other funding opportunities so that we can have the wants as well as the needs. The residents of our district should not have to continue to keep on paying for the wants, and must be a better way to fund them. I'd like to give special thanks to my family, who have been fully supportive, allowing me to pursue my midlife crisis by joining council 5 years ago. I came into council in 2020 in a by-election when Paul McConnell stepped down to move to Tamanui. It has been a rewarding experience being able to apply lessons I've learned throughout my life to my role within the council. A special thank you to Michelle, who shares my belief that if it's something's worth doing, it's worth doing well. An example of this is the election signs. In Hamilton, signs can go up much earlier than here in Ōtorohanga. And Michelle came home one day and said, we needed to consider how I did my signs, as she had noticed that some signs stood out more than others. The next weekend, she drags me to Hamilton, and we spent hours driving around looking at signs, working out what looked good and what didn't. I laughingly asked her, did you imagine doing this when you met me? That we'd be spending the day driving around looking at election signs. But by the time we'd got home, we had a design idea and ready to go. Yeah. And finally, for those who missed my thank you in the Concountry News, Ōtorohanga is more than a dot on the map. It's a place where hard work meets heart, where families thrive, and where we believe in each other. Together, we'll build a future that honours our past and embraces our potential. Let's get to work and let's make sure every Kiwi in Ōtorohanga knows they can fly. Thank you. I'd like to call Katrina Christian to make a direction, please. No? Christian says, sorry.
Christ is on. I, Katrina
already.
Christensen,
Yeah, make deputy mayor yet.
I, Katrina Christensen, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interest of the Ōtorohanga district the powers and authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as councillor of the Ōtorohanga District Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, and any other act. Morena, I just want to say a couple of words. How humbled I am to be voted back into council. This is my 4th term. And I love this district. I love the people. But I also wanted to thank my husband. He's not one to come into these spaces, but when I have an idea, he's got my back, whether it's serving the community or hopping on a plane to do a garden show overseas. He holds the fort. And then our 2 girls, Kaylee and Chloe. As an elected member, sometimes you miss out on some stuff, but they have my back. And always tell me how proud they are of me. So that's why I do what I do. Thank you.
I'd like to call Taylor Barclay.
I, Taylor Barclay, declare that I will faithfully and impartially, according to the best of my skills and judgment, execute and perform in the best interests of the Ōtorohanga district the powers and authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a councillor of the Ōtorohanga District Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987 and any other act. Thank you. I hadn't prepared anything, but yeah, just wanted to say a huge thank you to my support network, my amazing husband, Brett, and my dad, Greg, and Tim. I've got Al here as well, who has been all have been a big drive behind my campaign and supporting me in this journey. I'm extremely excited to represent the Ōtorohanga district. Yeah. That's all.
My contribution to you, for your contribution. And you might be singing, I love those dear and shades of people who live in my hometown. Because those dear and gentle people will live and love in your hometown.
Sure, well done. I'd like to call Andrew Barker, please.
Right. I, Andrew Barker, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skills and judgment execute and perform in the best interests of the Ōtorohanga District Council the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a councillor of the Ōtorohanga District Council by the virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meeting Act 1987 and any other act.
Last chance.
I can still get out of this game.
Doors are locked. Well done, mate.
Have nothing to say. Well, that's 3 years.
I'd like to call Joe Butcher, please.
Mōrena tēnā koutou katoa. I, Joe Butcher, declare, I can speak loud enough, eh?
That's the online people.
No, sorry, online.
The thousand.
Online community might be my son and daughter, hopefully. Yeah. I, Joe Butcher, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interests of the Ōtorohanga district the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a councillor of the Ōtorohanga District Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, good year, and any other act. Dated at Ōtorohanga this 4th day of November 2025. I don't know if I was meant to read that.
I'd like to call Shane Carr, please.
I, Shane Carr, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interest of the Ōtorohanga district the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as councillor of the Ōtorohanga District Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, and any other act. Dated at Ōtorohanga this 4th day of November 2025. Thanks. Like Tata, I don't have anything. Oh, sorry, Rod.
You're not there yet.
Out on your parade. Just big thanks to Mum and Kim and Doc for all their support. And always sage and at times brutal advice. Strange as it may seem, it is appreciated. And big thanks to Mum for giving up perfect day to play golf. Come and play. Thanks very much.
We've run out of songs. We need a big playlist. Anyway, could I call Kit Jeffries, please? You'll do that first. Yeah.
I, Kit Jeffries, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interests of the Ōtorohanga district the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as councillor of the Ōtorohanga District Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987 and any other act.
Well done. You know what to do. Done it a few times.
Thank you, mate. Tēnā koutou katoa. Ko parongia te monga, ko tainui te waka, ko ngati hi kairo toko iwi, no kawhia a hau, ko Kit Jeffries toko anoa, no rea, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. An apology from my wife Diane, who couldn't come through today, but she wished everybody a successful and a happy day. And this, even though this is my 42nd year of association with local government, I can assure you that my passion and commitment to you hasn't diminished at all. So I look forward to the next 3 years and congratulate Rodney and Katrina for Mayor, Deputy Mayor. Well done. Thank you.
As you've noticed, we're doing this in alphabetical order. Tēnā kite.
Thank you, Rodney. I didn't bring my glasses, but it looks big enough. I, Tēnā kite, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interests of the Ōtorohanga district the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as councillor of the Ōtorohanga District Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987 and any other act.
Excuse me. Congratulations, Rodney. I just want to acknowledge a few, please. My nanny Barvin Anderson over there, she's one of my last nans that's left. So I want to thank her very much for coming today. It's really humbling to see you here. To my mother, love you very much. My husband, my children, my mokopuna, my in-laws, and Marukopa and Taharoa, love you all very much. The tangata whenua that welcomed us here today, I'm tangata whenua too, engari, the councillors and all the workers here in Tānia Winter. Also my friends in whānau. I have a little secret. I have a secret weapon, Maria Willison. She used to work here, so she's going to tell me everything, how it goes in the back, and I'm really excited for that support. Have I left anyone else? Ngā mihi kia koutou, thank you.
Jamie Tamaki.
Oi, ko Jamie Tamaki, e oti ana kia whai ahau i te pono me te tōkeke, i runga hoki i te mutunga kia mai, nei i aku pukenga, i aku whakatau hoki kia whakatūtiki, kia mahi anō hoki i te mana whakahaere, i te mana whakatau me ona momo mahi, kia uhia ki runga i au, kia whiwhi paenga mo te takiwa te Ōtorohanga hei kai kaunihira, o te kaunihira arohe o Ōtorohanga, e ai hoki ki te ture, kāwanatanga a taiao, 2002. Ki te ture kāwanatanga a taiao whakapai me te hui o 1887, me e tuhi ture rānei. Me or you?
You fine? You sign the bottom.
No, yeah.
No, they do it there. The means.
Those on Kurapau.
Oh.
Tēnā tātou. Just wanted to follow suit and have a few words, but all the kaumātua, reo rurihi o reo koroheke, o reo pakeke, o reo tamariki, o reo mokopuna in this room, I just wanted to say I'm here to represent you here at the District Council, and I thank you for all your fellows' continued support as we go forward into the next triennium. Got any nawe? Te Rodney. Kia ora.
You're welcome to go now if you want. If you wanted to see how exciting it is that we've signed up for the next 3 years, you can stay. It'll be quite a very short meeting, but yeah.
Yeah,
We can call a break so that Whānau
We can-
can say goodbye, or we can.
Yeah, if you'd like to call a break.
I'm seeing nods.
Yeah. Some of them don't want to stay for the meeting. It's exciting, I'm telling you. No, I think we'll just call it a break now and then
Yeah.
say what if anyone has to go, and then we'll resume with our meeting. Thank you.
We're gonna stay.
Or just as long as we've got it.
We thought we might go outside and do photos now. Do some photos.
Welcome to the very first meeting I've ever chaired as mayor. It's quite an occasion. Anyway, we've got a decision report to go to, which is item 1, fixing the date and time for the first meeting. Exciting. So I read that. We've got a... Yes, please.
Through you, Mayor Dow. So the first report is just by legislation, we have to fix the date and time of the first ordinary meeting. At that ordinary meeting, we will bring the schedule of meetings for the rest of the triennium to you, but this is just to fix a date. So Mayor Dow has talked to all the councillors, I understand, and Tuesday seems to be still the preferred day. So the last Tuesday of the month and commencing at 10 a.m. So that they are the recommendations.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Moved Jeffrey, seconded Jamie Tamaki. All those in favour? All right. Against? 10 a.m. So I read the resolution. So the next item we have, a very important item, this is too, appointment of the deputy mayor. Do you speak to that one too?
Through you, Mayor Dow. This report is to appoint the deputy mayor, something that's also required in the Local Government Act. The mayor actually has the power to do that himself, and this report is recommending that council acknowledges that appointment of Katrina Christensen as deputy mayor.
I'll move it.
Moved Jamie Tamaki, do I second that?
I'll second it.
Second, councillor Butcher. All those in favour? Against? Congratulations.
Can I say something? Can I? Again, I just want to thank Mayor Rodney for his confidence in me. It really means a lot. And I'm incredibly honoured and humbled to take on this role. When we work together and bring our community and district along on the journey, we can make an even bigger difference. I'm excited to stand alongside everyone else around this table. We've got an amazing team for the next 3 years. So yeah, let's keep making Ōtorohanga a better place.
We're rocking on now. Item 3, appointment of councillors to the community boards. Can I hand over to Tanya Winter, please?
Getting the hang of that through you, Mayor Dow. So we have 2 community boards in our district, the Ōtorohanga Community Board and the Kāwhia Community Board. And under the Local Government Act and the Local Electoral Act, council can appoint councillors to those community boards. So the recommendations are there to appoint Councillor Katrina Christensen and Councillor Taylor Barclay to the Ōtorohanga Community Board, and that the Kāwhia Community Board there's 2 elected members in the Kāwhia Te Hiroa ward, but only 1 is to be appointed to the Kāwhia Community Board. So Councillor Kit Jeffries and Councillor Joe Butcher have agreed to do half a term each, with Councillor Kit Jeffries first. So they are the recommendations.
I'd like to move that, so I get my name on the agenda.
I'll second it.
All those in favour? Aye. Against? Carried. The next item, item 4, is just an information only report, and it's going to just give us a rundown by the sound of about 135 rules we can get in trouble about. So I'd like to hand over to Tanya Winter again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Dow. So there's a lot to take in terms of legislation when you are an elected member in a council, but there's some pieces of legislation that we need to talk to you about, and we're required to talk to you about at your first meeting. So you've got the report, and what I thought I'd quickly do is just take you through a slideshow, and it's going to work, called Keeping You Legal. So there are 8 slides, just to give you a heads up on this, and I've tried to keep it as brief as possible because there will be opportunities through the triennium where we use these pieces of legislation in a practical sense. And I feel it's far more important that you get to know them intimately in that way, rather than me rattling off every clause in these pieces of legislation. So Keeping You Legal, you've just signed a declaration that says that you will, I can't remember the exact words, but abide by 2 pieces of legislation and any other act. Well, there's 135 of them. And I think there's probably more now because, yeah. So here's the few that will keep you out of trouble. So I'm going to talk about the Local Government Act. I'm going to talk about Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act. So these are 2 that were in the declaration. We fondly call that one Lagoima, that second one up there. We've got the Local Authorities Members Interest Act, the Crimes Act, and the Secret Commissions Act. So the Local Government Act is our main piece of legislation, and it focuses us on 4 well-beings. I will talk to you a bit more about the well-beings in a minute, because there are new pieces of legislation that the current government are putting through that propose to change the Local Government Act. But it does give you your governing role. It sets direction. It looks at your role as policymakers, as monitoring performance of the council and ensuring that staff deliver. So the governance, operational kind of, I guess, beautiful marriage, for want of a better word. It has pieces in there, clauses in there that sets a framework for engaging the community in key decisions and planning. And there are some things that we must consult the community on. And then there are other things that we can choose whether we talk to the community about. It talks about our financial responsibilities in terms of being open, transparent and accountable with what we spend ratepayers' money on. So I've had members of the public several times in my career telling me, I pay your wages. And they're not wrong. It might be a little offensive, but it is actually correct. And so, you know, my staff and I, we take that seriously. And you as elected members are encouraged through this legislation to also take that seriously. And then the planning and accountability in terms of a long-term plan and annual plan. And one of the things we'll take you through before Christmas, there's not many pieces of work that we want to talk to you about before Christmas, but the annual plan is one of them. That's our budget setting for 2026-27. We want to do that before Christmas. Kit will be happy about that. Yeah. Okay, so I talked about the 4 wellbeing and the government wanting to change some of the focus areas in the Local Government Act. So one of the proposals is that the 4 wellbeings are removed from the Local Government Act and there is a refocus on core services. So this has happened before. It's a bit like yo-yo, you know, in our world where you get a new government, they change the purpose of local government, you get another one, they change it again. So we've had the 4 wellbeings removed from legislation before. In a sense, you are accountable to the community out there. So we all know that there is stresses in our health system, in our education system, and in those kinds of things that you would maybe say aren't our business. But in actual fact, in order to have a thriving, amazing community, we want people that are well and we want people who have access to education, et cetera, et cetera. So, well, then what is our role? So there'll be a lot of exploring that, I guess, over the next wee while as this government moves to remove those 4 wellbeings. And you can read those. I won't go through them line by line, but that's basically the essence of the systems improvement bill. There is going to be some discussion about rates capping. And I don't know whether if you attended the induction program from the Local Government New Zealand, they might have touched on that. So that'll be something that we talk about over the next wee while as well. So Lagoima keeps us safe in our meetings and decision-making processes. The basic principle of this Act is that the public should have access to information unless there is good reason to withhold. So good reason to withhold will be something like my performance review. We're not going to put that on a public agenda. We put that on a confidential agenda, and that's to protect my privacy. We might be in commercial negotiations with a company in town or with other councils. One of the reasons to withhold that from the public, and it might only be withholding it for the time that those negotiations are going on, is because there's commercial sensitivity around it. There's most of the time we try and put everything in the public, our workshops, our papers, and that. But there are times when we can withhold, and we've got legal rights to withhold. So the Members' Interest Act, also a very important one, and one that we will probably look at getting the Office of the Auditor General in to run a workshop with you on. You've all come from community. You've all got memberships to clubs. You have family members that own businesses, or you own businesses in the community. It's likely that at some point that might put you in conflict with the decision that council needs to make. And to keep you safe, we teach you about the Members' Interest Act. It talks about financial gain, which is pecuniary, and non-financial gain, which is non-pecuniary. pecuniary. And my advice to you will always be declare your conflicts early or declare your interests early. So all those sports clubs, all those membership organisations, anything that you're involved in, it's better to put it down on paper and then we can work out how we're going to deal with it than to withhold that and later on someone takes us through a judicial review process or something like that. We do circulate the interests form at some stage and we will ask you to put those down. My staff also have an interests register so that we keep staff safe on our side, and yeah, if in doubt, speak to me. Okay, the Crimes Act, we're getting more and more serious, aren't we? And so are the images. Yeah. So this is around bribery and corruption. Okay, you are in quite senior roles in our community. You will have information, you will have access to information, you will be involved in awarding tenders, you will be making decisions that involve processes that might end up with some people securing contracts and other people not securing contracts. So it's basically saying keep yourself safe and don't use your position in a corrupt way. I was at the pointy end of this 3 years ago. So this time exactly 3 years ago, I was in the High Court in Christchurch. So Graham had to do the swearing in of the mayor then. I couldn't be here because I was the key witness in a serious fraud office trial in the High Court in Christchurch. One of my group managers took kickbacks in a contracting tender process. Some of you might have read about the cake decorator. That was us. So I have been at the pointy end of the Crimes Act and it's not fun. And it took 6 years for that to work through and a lot of time and a lot of sort of serious consequences. So we have really strict processes around our procurement. We talk openly with you about that so that you understand it. And yeah, it's really about your position in office. The Secret Commissions Act, it's a similar piece of legislation to the Crimes Act, but the Crimes Act focuses more on public office. It has clauses in the Crimes Act that aren't in the Secret Commissions Act. So this is more likely used in the private sector, but it still does apply to us. So we're keeping you safe around gifts. You will have people who, by virtue of your position, want to shower you with gifts, and they may be in a tender process, or maybe in a so check with us. If somebody ends up giving you tickets to the rugby and you think, oh, we might need to check that because they're giving them to you as in your role as a councillor or the mayor, then please come and check that with us and declare. So yeah, questions? Any partai, any questions? Okay.
I just couldn't help but notice the one that was done in 1910, that law was made, and it hasn't been changed. So whoever wrote that was a very clever person, obviously. But yeah, 15 years and it's still going, because most laws get changed.
I think the golden rule, which Tani has emphasised, is if you're not sure about anything, come and talk, come and ask, because you're better off to cover your backside that way than take a chance going, Yeah, so it's interesting that with I'll give you an example of how some people think. The recent revaluations were posted out recently, and I've had 2 people already come to me and say, "Oh, you bloody councils, you've levied your rates on the old valuation. This is our valuation." I'm saying, no, this one doesn't kick in until next year. So they don't understand that sort of a process, and they think we're rorting the system somehow. But there is in the number of people's minds out there, there's perhaps a lack of understanding as to what we do and why we do it. So if you get an opportunity to explain that, yeah. Yep.
Deputy Mayor Christensen.
Oh, I like that.
I know that's what I said.
I've got a question. With the interest register, should I be declaring that my sister sits on a sporting committee that is going through consultation with the council?
Yeah, so my advice to you would be yes. If they're an office bearer on the committee rather than just a member of that sports club, so they're in a decision-making role and maybe negotiating with the council, then yeah, I think the optics around that, I would. Just so that everyone knows, I can't make the call for you on whether you have an interest or a conflict of interest or not. I can give you advice. We can get a ruling from the Office of the Auditor General if we need to, and I've had to do that in other councils. And you can, obviously talk it out with your colleagues and get their take on it. Happy to offer advice, but it's not actually my call and it's no one else's call as to whether you declare that you have a conflict of interest in something. We will always record it in the minutes and we will ask you what you want to do about it. So just because you have a conflict of interest in something, say an item on the agenda, doesn't mean to say you have to go and stand outside. Doesn't mean to say you have to leave the table or not participate. We use a bit of a judgment here, and it might be that you can still participate in the discussion, even the voting, but you've declared that conflict and it's in the minutes for the public record of all time. So yeah.
Cool. I was actually going to add it to my interest register, but I was just asking to give context for everyone so that they could, if they didn't want to ask a question in their first meeting.
And it's a great question because a year ago, that might not have been an interest at all. But now time's moved on and council is starting to talk to that particular club. So therefore, and we ask you to update your interests on a regular basis, like quarterly or something like that. Is it Kaya? Yeah. So you can always just check in, take them off, add new ones on.
What about the Working Men's Club? Most people are members.
Yep, I'd put that down as well, if you remember. Mm-hmm.
So obviously,
Councillor Carr.
sorry, obviously that same rule would apply to me, right? Because same committee. Yeah. Wait, okay, cool.
I think the big take home is just declare, and then we can discuss it.
Yeah.
At a council meeting, whether we think, you should vote or you shouldn't participate or, because I mean, we're a small community and we've got relations, friends, it's pretty hard in a little community like this not to be connected somehow. That's how we got voted in, basically, because we've got some friends, and family. Maybe they all want something. So, that's the big thing is, it's all about transparency, but council is the most transparent thing ever. They see everybody, but people still think we're hiding stuff. So, and we're spending someone else's money sometimes. So that's what we've got to be aware. So, yeah. So, if there's no more questions, I'd like to move the information report be received. Can I have a second? Second, Deputy Mayor Christian. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Oh, we don't have any public excluded reports today, so not to worry about that. And yeah, I've got it in front of me. So we'll just have a closing karakia before I close the meeting.
So the karakia is on page 3 of your agenda, Mā te whakapono. That's the one we've been using up until now, open to other ideas if people want to, but yeah, we will usually say it together.
Well, I'd like to do it. We'll do it in Te Reo and also do it in English so that just
Nice.
the new members of the Killer, our big audience out there. Mā te whakapono mā te tumanaki, mā te tiro, mā te takarongo, mā te mahitahi, mā te manawhena, mā te raha, ka te e tātou. By believing and trusting, by having faith and hope, by looking and searching, by listening and hearing, by working and striving together, by patience and perseverance, by all being done with compassion, we will succeed. Perfect. I'd like to call this first meeting that I've chaired on closed. The meeting is closed. Thank you.